Farmer's Dog reached 1 billion in revenue and became profitable, something most brands never achieve.
And they did it with a quiz funnel that powers everything.
In this video, we're going to break down the exact funnel that powers their growth and how it converts dog owners into high LTV subscribers.
We show you how they hook customers, how they personalize everything, the tactics that you could use right now, and you can see how this brand has quickly won their market.
Great, so let's dive in.
Welcome to the Funnel Show, your inside look at what's working right now to scale funnels to 8 figures and beyond. Whether you're scaling funnels for your own brand or for your clients, join us as we learn from the top funnel operators in the arena today. Together, let's find the patterns of success, uncover what works, and learn how to scale fast. I'm John Denny.
And I'm Ethan Denny.
We're brothers and co-founders of ConvertFlow, which launches and optimizes funnels for high-performance brands. And here's the best part. Everything we learn about scaling funnels is going straight into our AI platform, so you can put it to work today.
Let's dive in. So here's the funnel that Farmer's Dog used to become a category leader. We've got it all documented from first click all the way through checkout. It starts off with the really creative ad campaigns that they run. We've highlighted a few here, but as you can see, there are all kinds of ads and ad creative that they've tested. There's like, they're also doing whitelisted influencer ads like through other pages. And these are all like really creative as well. And so these ads, I think they like hook people with great like emotional content, and then they drive people through to their homepage where the rest of the funnel kind of kicks off. So we've documented it here step by step, and we're going to walk you through it.
Some things to highlight here on these ads is that it looks like the pattern in terms of the incentive is they do a 50% off the first box, and then they offer like free treats. But you'll notice here that like for Memorial Day, it went from 50% to 60%. So it sounds like for major holidays, they have alignment around a little bump in the incentive from 50 to 60%. And that gives shoppers a reason to go ahead and, check out now. Something to note.
For sure. Also highlighting this ad here where they're showing like the comparison of, what a dog was like before Farmer's Dog and then what, a dog looks like after Farmer's Dog, which is
That
obviously
poor weenie dog.
more fit, more healthy.
Drop 5 for summer.
Right. Getting it summer bod ready.
You'll also notice there's this like unboxing there. People love that kind of content.
True.
I'm always watching like unboxing videos on the internet.
Yeah. So they're running all kinds of great ad creative, which, once people click, drive people to their homepage. I mean, they also try like driving people to landing pages, but most of the ad creative that we've seen that's currently running is driving people straight to a homepage. And this homepage is designed to convert really well. So one of the first things that you'll see here is like a trust building headline, right? So they're differentiating their product from others in the space by saying that it's supported by vets and it's loved by dog people.
I think this is specifically because of Memorial Day as well. So they've updated it for their retail calendar.
Nice. Yeah. And they highlight their unique value proposition in the sub headline here, talking about how this is fresh cooked food that's formulated by board certified nutritionists, which, maybe other foods in their category in the traditional like pet food space may not be.
For sure.
So they're creating trust with their audience so that you are more likely to buy from them. Another thing is they've got great social proof baked in here from media, like major media sites, as well as like the commentary that they had on this brand.
Note like how they use the actual testimonial from the brand, the logo that they were seen on, as opposed to just the logo. Most brands will just put the logo that they've been seen on, but they don't actually quote like what was said or anything like that.
Yeah, I love that. Something that's kind of cool with this headline is that it really tugs at your emotions. And I think like maybe even guilt trips you a little bit, saying that you shouldn't be the only one eating healthy, which kind of means that maybe your pet, your dog wasn't eating healthy before, especially if it was eating like, let's say kibble or something like that, which would be like the product category they're trying to position themselves against. And here they really like support that with this subheadline.
I think it also speaks to like who their target customer is, like their ICP. It's clearly, someone that already eats healthy themselves, right?
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And in this section, they help, communicate how their product works, right? So it's real food, it's human grade, nothing weird. It's just meat and veggies, simple recipes, human grade safety, gently cooked, and developed by vets and the board certified nutritionists.
I think that's a super important thing here, because like a lot of people try to do like fresh food. Like you'll hear of people like, I'm cooking rice and like chicken, like for my dog and this and that. But like, the dog may not be getting like all the nutrients that they need. So like having it like, and that's actually kind of the benefit of kibble. With all of its caveats, like it is kind of getting the dog the nutrients that like, uh, they need based off like regulations and this and that. So reinforcing that this solves that problem, like addressing that objection, is super important. Yeah, I want to also highlight here that where it says like to build a personalized plan, that's the call to action, like to go to the quiz funnel, which we'll get into in just a minute. But you'll notice it doesn't say quiz. Like a lot of times brands will say like, take our quiz, take our product finder quiz. It's like the shopper doesn't care about quizzes at all. They care about it's getting like a personalized outcome, right? So they make that the call to action.
And here they're reinforcing their unique value proposition. It's a fresh approach to pet food. I think like they're just taking shots at the traditional approach to pet food. And you can see here how they're supporting those additional, well, I guess those shots that they're taking, right? So it's not just like meals. It's oh, let me see actually.
Yeah, they're like slashing it out, right? I think it's a pretty neat little like copy trick that they're doing there.
Yeah, definitely. Like no preservatives, not just like meals, no brown pellets, no label tricks. Yeah, it's good.
And they show the product right below, and it's like very clearly like fresh food, right?
It's personalized for your pet's name, which is pretty cool. I think this part's really, really important because like their process, in my mind is the product. People are buying their process, which is, they've obviously tested this on humans. It's human grade food. It's safe, right? And then the meal plans are like personalized for your pet. And then it's ultimately delivered in days, right? So then it's convenient. It's not something that takes a long time in order to formulate and produce and then ship to your house. This is something that you can get access to within days. So I think that whole process is ultimately what they're selling here, um, and that people are buying.
I feel like whenever Sasha and I buy pet food is because like we're running out and like we need it within like a day or two. So they definitely understand that customer well. And like to note, like we are a customer. It's a farmer's dog, so it's clearly working.
You guys are?
Yeah.
Yep. And here, I think they're playing into the whole convenience thing, which it's better for your pet, but it's also easier for you. So you skip the stores, no preservatives, no retail markups. Their vet developed plans guide you through the best diet, right? Um, Perfectly timed frozen deliveries. Make sure you never run out. So here they're just backing up their the if you were already considering buying now, like you're selling you with logic and helping you justify your decision with choosing farmer's dog as your you know food option for your animal.
Especially where it says like down below where they talk about like this AAFCO, a complete, and balance. Like I don't even know what that means, but it sounds like trustworthy.
Yeah, right. So here's another social proof section, and tries to show like why they're better.
You'll notice this part where it's like view pet portal. I don't know if you see that link. Like I don't even think any vet that is interacting with them is going to click through there. They're probably doing it through something in the navigation or the footer, or they got like an email login. But they show that so that way the consumers, it like reinforces the trust that vets are involved.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't think about that. And that it's trusted by vets, right? So more social proof, and they're just stacking signals of trust for their audience, so that they're able to convert these people into customers.
They're saying like, don't take our word for it. Like, here's actual quotes from real vets that we've partnered with. Use the vet's voice in this case.
More social proof, over 100 million meals delivered, huge number. This whole page is basically around social proof and increasing trust with the customer. And then again, you got that call to action for creating your plan. So one thing I really love about this homepage is that every call to action drives you to the same next step. So instead of like a lot of direct to consumer or e-commerce stores having a bunch of links that drive you to a bunch of different pages across the site, here like their focus is one call to action straight to the next page, and it's all pretty guided from here on. Okay, so let's look at the next step. So you click on the call to action, right? Whether it's this one here or building your personalized plan, you're then taken to the quiz start page, and they kind of reinforce that here. Better food starts here. So here you're gonna, develop the meal plan for your pet.
And I don't know if you see my comment there, but you'll notice that they immediately tell you that it's going to take just about 3 minutes, and they also tell you that you're going to get a recommended recipe and the price. So they set the expectations up front, so that way you feel comfortable with going through what seems to be a higher commitment, shopping experience than most stores.
Yeah, no, that's good. And then again, they reinforce this with some social proof. You click through, and then the quiz starts. Here, I was going through it, and we added have one dog. Here, gave it a fictitious name, so let's call it Spot. And I love the imagery that they're using throughout their quiz. It just makes it more engaging.
I think it's the style's cool. Like I actually like would prefer as a shopper, like a picture of a real dog, in my opinion, but it still looks good. It's their style.
Yeah, but I think maybe what they're going for with the artwork is just like featuring different types of like dogs. Someone might have a little dog or a big
What
dog.
is that thing?
This one?
The one on the left.
I'm not sure. Maybe a Schnauzer. Okay, and then here they collect more information on the actual customer, right? And you added something pretty interesting here, which you want to expand upon?
Yeah, so they have you like choose like, I already like believe that fresh food, I don't already believe and so on. Like, and what you're essentially doing is you're telling them like exactly where you are on the awareness ladder. And like the buyer awareness ladder would be like, I'm aware that I have a problem, or I'm unaware that I have a problem, or I'm aware that there's a solution, or I'm aware that there's a solution, right? Um, and they're essentially letting you kind of self sort yourself uh, um, based off your answer, which I found really interesting because they're going to use that to be able to change the recommendation in their messaging to address those objections.
You can imagine how that might influence like their ad creative and their follow-up sequences, their email flows and SMS flows might be more focused on developing trust to make you a believer, knowing that like you're going to need that kind of content in order to buy. I also like that they're already personalizing this quiz step based on our dog's name here. A couple other things, they collect like zip code. Good point for like shipping support. And also, so they can, I think, probably determine whether they service that area, things like that.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people from perhaps like different countries and maybe that they don't have like are not able to do like fresh food delivery to. They end up putting their zip code in, and then they're able to figure that out and then either change the. I haven't tried it, but I bet they changed the messaging or disqualified you based off that.
Yeah, possibly. Then they collect like email address on the customer, which they can obviously use for sending emails and following up. And then from there, they have you tell them a little about your dog. So let's see here. Already personalizing with first name. Exactly. So all of this content's being personalized for your specific dog, which is really cool because now like you feel like, as you're going through this quiz, you're building your meal plan. And so the more information you input, the better the meal plan would potentially be for your dog. So you're kind of like incentivized to interact with the quiz, provide more information, and not drop off. So here we said that she's 11 years old. She's spayed and is the cutest King Charles Spaniel ever. Let's see here.
Is this the dog that you want to get? A King Charles Spaniel?
I think one day I want to get a King Charles.
You should do it.
There's a lot of different dog types I want.
You'll notice here, though, I added a comment that they have a link to add another breed. This is super smart that they've built their quiz to be able to handle building multiple subscriptions at the same time. rather than like forcing the shopper to kind of go through all the way over it again, right? Which would be annoying and like high friction. They let you do it simultaneously. Definitely going to increase the order value.
Yeah, that's great.
Because if you're buying it for one and you have two, you're likely to buy it for two.
So then you move on to the next step where you enter like the weight for your dog, and also its body type. And I think from there they can kind of determine, what the meal plan needs to be like in order to maybe make your dog a little more athletic or a little healthier in terms of weight.
You'll notice here though that this kind of survey option is much more like thumb friendly. Um, I think this is actually really good. This is what we've seen in the quizzes in ConvertFlow that like convert really well and have high like completion rates is that they have these very thumb friendly types of answers that you can select. The quiz questions before on the left where you have to like they kind of had this like clever sentence with all the different drop downs. I'm not actually convinced that's like the best because it could be a little bit hard when it's like too tactile like that for someone with their thumbs. I with my thumbs, I miss things on my phone all the time. So just give me these nice like big buttons that I could click. I think is the best way to go.
Here they're asking about the activity for the dog, whether it's like very active or not. That's obviously gonna help, I think, probably fuel the meal recommendation. And also like whether the dog's like a picky eater or a good eater. So you're really providing like a lot of insight on, your dog, what type of food, it mainly eats. This is super smart because they actually are collecting like what competitor the person currently is buying from before switching over to Farmer's Dog. So pretty amazing. The part here regarding treats, yeah, I'm not sure like how much value that adds. Maybe it adds a good bit to like whether the dog is like overweight or not.
So we used to be customers of My Ollie, which is like another food service. I wonder if they like have like different like alternative pages for their different competitors that they're able to use in the abandonment flow for this checkout experience. Like, so if you are an Ollie customer and you haven't bought Farmer's Dog yet, they're going to start sending you ads, emails, texts, etc., for why you should switch off My Ollie.
Oof, yeah, that'd be great.
I wonder if they've gone that far though.
Well, we'll see if we start seeing some ads for them, possibly. Okay. And then here we were able to add whether like our fictitious dog had any health issues or not. And if we click ads health issues, then it opened up all of these different like options that we can select. So selected a few um, before continuing. And while I imagine this goes into the recommendation for the meal plan, it also collects all kinds of information that um, they could use to personalize like email subject lines, like, help reduce spots anxiety with this, right? Or educate like in their marketing for these specific things. Now, what's really cool about that is that it turns a lot of their like marketing communications from everyone to for you by making it specific to your dog and their challenges and goals.
I think it's also really smart that they like kind of hide all of those options behind having selected that your dog has these health issues, right? Because if you don't select that, they don't need to show you all that, and that could create a kind of overwhelm, which may make someone drop off. I think it's super important to note here. This calculation step here probably does not take long. It probably they probably show you that it's calculating for a couple seconds, but they already have the recommendation ready to go. There's no actual like technical reason why to wait, but making the shopper wait, I think it increases the perceived value because it feels like there's like work that's like being done for you, and it feels like a personalized service, right? So they make you wait a second.
Once you finally land on the results page, here it's all personalized for you. It's personalized for your dog's name. They've collected all this like zero party data to do like a very specific recommendation for your dog, which obviously increases trust.
Yep, they put that offer right in front of you immediately. I think you also noted here that they show it's $4 a day instead of like $122 a month. Like $122 a month, kind of expensive, like when you consider dog food, right? But $4 a day, it's like digestible.
Yeah, and their new customer offer like makes it even more affordable to start, right? So if it's 60% off for however long or for the first box, um, then that's something that like a lot of people can probably, get started with. And then if your dog is like enjoying the food and this and that, then you'll feel more like compelled to pay for the full price once they start charging you for the full price. I love the way they're using all the quiz answers to personalize this quiz result page. Like one thing to highlight as well is that the imagery is even personalized with our dog's name. Pretty crazy. Um, so that's powerful. They're also yeah, they're also like driving you to continue with the recommendation here.
You'll notice here that it says to select your own plan. So I think this is cool. It's like a funnel escape hatch, right? Where it's like maybe you just don't like the recommendation that they gave, like which they tell you like up top, it's like turkey, beef, and chicken, right? Maybe you know for a fact your dog doesn't like chicken, so they just kind of failed with the recommendation. That doesn't mean that you have lost the sale, right? So they kind of give you the ability to kind of go select your own plan where they send you through like a bundle building type of experience rather than it being more of this like questionnaire type of flow.
As you scroll down, they just have more benefits, like reinforcing the value and why like you should buy from them. Uh,
Reiterate the offer.
more social proof, right? They've got if you're on mobile, this little box scrolls with you and keeps the call to action at the footer of the screen.
Good. Super important.
Yeah. So once you click through, and let's say you click continue with recommendation, then they take you to the checkout page. And this checkout page is pretty well optimized. A couple things you'll see here is John, you mentioned this is a custom cart.
Yeah. Yes. I noticed they're not using like Shopify or anything like that. They're using a custom cart. I actually talked to someone at Farmer's Dog, like probably like 2 years ago. I think I had like a happy hour here in Miami. And like we were talking about like debating the merits of like using Shopify, not using Shopify. And like at 9 figures plus in revenue, I think they're doing like 1 billion in annual revenue. It's so worth it to actually custom code and pay for the development team to be able to maintain a custom cart because like you get to CRO like all these little tiny things and the incremental impact of that's like actually worthwhile. Maybe below that, maybe at the 8 figure, 7 figure level, it's just not worth it. Like Shopify is just like generalized like CRO of their like centralized checkout. Might serve you better than like potentially, breaking your checkout or something, trying to custom code it. But for them, for sure, it's worth it. Custom cart. It's allowed them to do a lot of stuff here that you typically wouldn't be able to do with Shopify.
So I know Shopify with their enterprise offering around composable, features, that I think they're trying to like solve for that as well, like allowing larger brands to customize the experience and have control over like the checkout and things like that, while still being able to run on Shopify. So it definitely makes sense for Shopify to push in that direction so that like they can win larger brands.
Yeah, you used to be able to do it back with like the 1.0 checkout where you had like all this custom code control, but they kind of moved everyone away from that into the more centralized checkout. So it makes sense that they're having to add back a lot of those things. But like for example, here they've got this like free gift incentive. It's built right into it. It feels very on brand. It doesn't feel like the Shopify checkout.
Yeah. So regarding the free gift, that obviously increases the motivation to buy. But it's really smart that they put that right up top. It's like kind of like a treat for getting through the quiz, and your pet's gonna like treats. So
Yeah.
one other thing is that they're adding some urgency here by saying like while supplies last.
I feel like as a consumer, I would probably just like glance over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple other things that I think they do well here is they reiterate the first customer or like new customer offer of 60% off first box. Um, looks like you mentioned here that the free shipping softens unexpected tax.
Yeah, so you've got a tax line item there. So you probably weren't like pricing that in when you like saw their initial offer. But what they do is they like let you know, like, hey, we're doing the free shipping always. Like you're gonna get recurring free shipping. By the way, here's this tax, right?
They also like have a risk reversal here where like you can pause or cancel anytime from your account. So, with subscriptions, it's always a pain if you have to jump through hoops in order to cancel, but they communicate that they're making it easier.
You'll notice here that there's a pretty natural like SMS opt-in. It's about like, getting information regarding the food plan and not just like receiving communications or promos or something like that. It feels like transactional, like for the service that they're providing. That's a really good way to do SMS opt-in, ideally.
You also notice first name was pre-filled here. If they did collect more information, like alongside in their quiz on the actual customer, they could pre-fill more of this. But it was smart of them to collect like at least email and first name initially. It looks like they go for a phone number here.
I feel like this is where the custom cart kind of, really doesn't stand up to like the whole Shopify checkout because, I'm just so used to like buying with that shop pay, like right there. Like whenever I see these fields, I'm like, oh, I have to submit all this again. And like I'm just used to Amazon or Shop Pay just kind of taking care of it for me.
Yep. So they've got the risk reversal here. I like that they communicate instead of like buy now or purchase. It's start first box for this discounted amount, right? It's interesting. I think they could have like gone with their price per day amount here, where it was like what 165 per day or like $4 per day. I think continuing that would have been good, but yeah, I like that.
This part here, big benefit of the custom checkout is they're able to show you like how it works. Like first box, 60% off, second box, like it's got 20 days of food, full box contains 56 days of food. They kind of show you the process. And like I bet so many support tickets were probably relating to this, like just lacking clarity on like what's going to happen, like before you actually commit, before you, submit that credit card. So they just like really ironed out, those question and answers right there with this little process graphic.
Yeah, totally. I think another thing this does is it creates urgency. So by being able to calculate like which week like the product is going to be delivered on, and when to expect the second box and third, I guess the next box after that, um, it's really good because like you don't want to have things delayed even further, right? And so if they've already created an expectation that you're going to receive, the first box this day or this week, and then the next box this week, then that's the schedule that you now have in mind. So I think it's really smart that they set those expectations here.
Yeah, it helps you time it out because like when you're, if you're feeding your dog, like you want to make sure like you have everything kind of charted out. Otherwise, you may miss a day. So, and then it's back to kibble. I wanted to note here, like they reiterate the CTA again. This seems like an obvious thing, but a lot of times brands just don't do this. They just have these like dead ends on pages and stuff like that, where you scroll down and it's like, oh, I'm at the footer. It's not clear like what the next step is, right? So just being redundant probably works really well for them here.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is, we've got a check abandonment flow here.
Yeah, so that's I love that. Custom cart, they're able to do that when someone goes to exit. They're able to trigger this pop up, and it's like we'd love to help. Like, how can we help? What can we improve?
Yeah, so I went through it and I went down the path of like I need a different recipe, and it took me through two or three different questions that asked if like the dog had any allergies to specific types of like proteins or meats, and then asked like does it eat any kind of like veggies, and then it followed up with like some other question regarding like other types of foods that it likes or something like that. And the ending screen of this like pop up was saying that, well, thank you, we're going to share this with our like our team, and this helps us like develop new recipes and things like that. So they're collecting all this information on like why people didn't buy, and then share that with their team to inform like what types of recipes they can create to like basically grow their market and acquire more customers. And they can then go back to this customer here who didn't buy, but they have all this like first this zero party data that they can use to win back that customer, which is really powerful.
Awesome. So that's Farmer's Dog's funnel. That's in the funnel swipe file. To get the full funnel swipe file with teardowns of all the top funnels that we find, head to go.convertflow.com.
Exactly. Before we wrap up here, did you want to go over this direct mail campaign or?
Yeah. So oh yeah, we forgot about this. So another way they're getting people to the homepage, aside from their ads, aside from their influencer campaigns and so on, is they also have a lot of direct mail campaigns. So whenever I've moved, I end up getting Farmer's Dog direct mail campaigns, and they've got that 50% off first box offer right there with the QR code. It's always there, and I think that ended up converting us, from what I recall.
So let's talk a little bit about going behind the funnel on Farmer's Dog. I think they were founded in 2014. Here in our notes, we've got like they were founded by Brett Podolsky and Jonathan Rajev. think I pronounced those names right, over a billion in revenue. I think they reached or surpassed a billion in revenue um, in like 2023 or something like that.
It's subscriptions, so it must be subscription revenue.
They raised 100 million plus in funding, and then it was ultimately inspired by Brett, sorry, fixing his dog's digestive issues through home cooked meals. Did you see any more information on that?
Um, no, but that allegedly that's what it was. So kind of scratching his own itch.
Yeah, so Farmer Strong is doing something really interesting because, they could have just entered the dog food category and tried to like position themselves as like premium, you know, kibble or a premium dog food brand.
Or even just like fresh food, right?
Yeah, that's like similar to the other alternatives that are out there. But instead, what they did is they like repositioned themselves entirely, kind of redefining maybe the category or creating a new category of like human grade food that's fresh and personalized for your dog rather than just kibble or some of the other options that are available out there.
I think the personalization part of this is the huge like value prop because like you could get fresh food at like a local vendor. The problem is like they're just going to give you, you know, a bunch of like a certain type of protein or whatever, and it doesn't really like feel like personalized to your dog and like their specific, dietary needs or digestive issues like Brett had with his dog. So they've like tackled this really, big challenge, which is like how do you personalize the product to probably like dozens, maybe even hundreds of different scenarios. So that's incredibly hard to do.
Yeah. They're clearly differentiated from traditional dog food like kibble. John, you mentioned you and your fiance, Sasha, you guys are customers.
Yeah, we've tried them all. Farmer's Dog's been great. But like I said, like I think they got us off that direct mail campaign that we were showing. But the packaging feels very premium. So that's something like a lot of times you'll get these dog food brands, and maybe they start out good and they have good packaging, but then they get bought, they get rolled up in private equity, and then like the packaging comes through and it looks really bad, and it just doesn't feel like a trustworthy thing. They do a good job, Farmer's Dog, at like making sure it feels like it's fresh. I've never received like lukewarm food, or it's always like ice cold, all that stuff.
And again, like, personalization, I think is one of the things people are buying here. And they like make sure that you feel that from the very beginning, as you interact with Farmer's Dog, well, with their quiz funnel, collecting all this kind of information on your pet.
The food packaging has the dog's name on it.
Exactly. Yeah. They're telling you like when you can expect like the shipping schedule to be and when to things are going to arrive at your door. So it's all like really personalized. This quiz funnel that they're using to power all of this, is definitely not just like a sales tool for their funnel. It like is part of the product experience from the beginning. Yeah, that people have.
Like you're building this custom plan. It has a lot of perceived value. It feels specific to your dog, and therefore, like you're just locked in to the funnel.
And then all this data, this like zero party data they're collecting, it's crazy because it obviously like feeds retention. If you get a custom plan for your dog, like you're not going to want to like just like give up a custom plan for your dog, or cancel like your dog's custom plan in order to go for some like generic dog food brand out there. But also all this data, can be used to personalize the rest of their marketing, right? So all their communications, if they know you didn't buy from them because, uh, you know, your dog is allergic to certain types of food, then they can like, use that in future communications to win you back. Like it's pretty amazing what they could do with all the data that they've collected here.
Also, like naturally, all that data that they collect in the quiz funnel fuels their R&D, right? So they're able to see, okay, like here's the paths that are working really well, right? In terms of conversion, in terms of retention, in terms of referral, and so on. And here are the ones that aren't, right? And that may imply that they need to improve like product and improve their like offerings on those paths that aren't like converting that well.
So I think it's really important to point out with Farmer's Dog because they're collecting all this data, it makes all their other like marketing channels way more efficient. Sorry, and so this allows them to spend aggressively on paid ads and like sponsor influencers and pay a higher customer acquisition cost on the front end, because one, their funnel and their subscription model is drives marketing efficiency further down the customer journey. But also the subscription model like helps drive profitability and higher LTV with their customers. But all that data being used to like personalize all these campaigns, whether it's direct mail, email, SMS, ads, it's going to reduce their future marketing spend and reduce the cost of acquiring customers further down the funnel.
LTV is super high because you think about it, you're spending like $100 a month per dog, for like a medium-sized dog, and then like you may want to get like some of their additional products, kind of a la carte. And I think there's also like this huge like referral and retention aspect of it, like unofficially, right? Because your friends come over and they see you like feeding your dog and it's fresh food, they're naturally going to ask like, what is that, right? But also like officially. So like, I don't think this was with Farmer's Dog, but I think it was with My Ollie. Oh, it's another brand. Like we should perhaps like go check out their funnel. But I remember Sasha like had joined like their like referral program, and like they were giving her like commissions for like offering like a free month to her friends, and all she was telling me like how much she earned on it. So that stuff definitely works. And you could do that when you have the lifetime value and profitability to be able to justify, subsidizing like that first month free and so on. Because it's expensive to do that. But if you know your customer acquisition cost, you could do it.
So like, them kind of creating a new category here of like human grade fresh food, for your dog that's like a personalized meal plan, and then using like this personalized funnel that helps you like build out the meal plan. I think it really does like help turn like new customers into basically like, I don't know if you want to call it like
Evangelists.
yeah, just evangelists. I think that's the safest word to use. That yeah, then go get you new customers and help drive the future like the profitability of the brand because of all that second order revenue that comes from customers telling new customers.
Yep. I feel like Farmer's Dog customers believe in like fresh food, and they're trying to convert all of their friends into that have dogs and with kibble as their primary meals and to like fresh food type of people.
So Farmer's Dog profitable at 1 billion plus in revenue, while a lot of DTC brands are bleeding cash. You can see why they're doing so well here. Strong offer on the front end, personalization all through the funnel, lots of first party and zero party data captured to like fuel the rest of their marketing. Great product, expectations well managed with their customers, and then customers becoming evangelists and helping them acquire new customers. Yeah, so if you want the funnel from Farmer's Dog, we've actually documented it in our Swipe file. It's in a Figma file, so you can see every step of the funnel, duplicate the funnel for and make a copy for yourself to get some inspiration for funnel strategies and campaigns that you can launch. And you can find it at go.commercial.com. Or the link might be in the description if you're watching this on YouTube.
Want all the templates from this funnel? Go to commerflow.com and get the funnel swipe file for free, where our team is collecting the top funnel designs we see driving today's fastest growing brands.